Hey there, future art world movers and shakers. We're diving deep into nailing that commercial art gallery manager interview.
Oh, yeah.
Because landing your dream job, it's an art A&D, a science.
It really is.
You've got the passion, the drive.
Hey.
Now let's make sure you knock those interview questions out of the park.
Yes, definitely.
You've got a career guide
Okay.
brimming with, like, juicy industry intel,
Yeah.
a treasure trove of targeted interview questions,
Mm-hmm.
and even a glimpse into how RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge.
Bonus insider tips for you.
Okay, so let's jump right in. A classic opener you'll likely face is, tell us about your experience managing a commercial art gallery.
Yes.
It seems simple, but it's your chance to, like, set the stage,
Right.
showcase the scope of your expertise.
It is. And, don't just list past roles, right?
Right.
Bring them to life. So instead of saying I managed X gallery, paint a picture.
Okay.
At X Gallery, I specialized in contemporary photography, managing a team of 3, and we successfully implemented a new online sales platform, boosting revenue by 15%. Wow. See the difference.
It's night and day. You've quantified your impact, highlighted specific skills, and immediately grabbed their attention.
For sure.
And speaking of impact, the career guide emphasizes sales and marketing,
Yes.
along with customer and personal service,
Mm-hmm.
make up over 50% of this role.
Absolutely. Demonstrating those skills with real-world examples is essential.
Okay.
Now get ready for this one. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends in the art world?
Ooh, good question.
It's a fast-moving landscape, so showcasing how you stay ahead is key.
Right, and it's easy to get overwhelmed.
It is.
New artists popping up, art fairs galore, the digital art explosion.
Totally.
Where do you even begin to showcase that you're in the know?
Well, I think specificity is your best friend here.
Okay.
So name drop those niche publications you follow,
Okay.
maybe an up-and-coming artist you're excited about,
Yeah.
or a recent exhibition that, blew your mind. Imagine saying this. I was particularly struck by the use of augmented reality at the Venice Biennale this year, and I'm exploring ways to incorporate similar technology into our upcoming exhibition on digital art.
Wow. That not only shows you're paying attention, but you're thinking critically,
Yeah,
applying those trends to your work.
exactly.
Speaking of trends and application, let's talk marketing.
Okay, yeah.
What is your strategy for marketing an exhibition? This is where your creativity meets your business sense.
100%. And don't just list platforms.
Right.
Think campaigns. For example, you could say, for an exhibition of emerging ceramic artists, I'd target both established collectors and a younger demographic interested in handcrafted goods through a multi-platform campaign.
Right.
We'd use Instagram for its visual appeal,
Sure.
partner with local craft studios for cross-promotion,
Love that.
and measure success through website traffic, social engagement, and of course, sales.
Okay, so you're painting a picture of a well-thought-out strategy, not just a random assortment of tactics.
Yes.
Plus, you're weaving in those all-important metrics for measuring success.
Yes, always got to have those metrics.
Now, this next question is all about leadership.
Okay.
How do you manage and motivate your staff?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
This one's about showcasing your leadership style.
Okay.
But again, with concrete examples.
Yeah.
Instead of simply saying, I believe in open communication, try something like, I fostered a culture of open communication by implementing weekly brainstorming sessions where every team member, regardless of seniority, could share ideas for upcoming exhibitions.
Wow. You've taken a theoretical concept and made it tangible. You've shown, not just told.
Exactly.
And here's a question that's often overlooked, but speaks volumes about your understanding of the art world's ecosystem.
Yeah.
How do you balance the needs of the gallery with the needs of the artists?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it can be a bit of a tricky one.
You can.
But it's about showcasing your ability to navigate potentially competing priorities with diplomacy and fairness.
Right.
A great way to approach it is by sharing a success story.
Okay. I like that.
So, for example, one of the artists I represent had a groundbreaking but logistically complex installation.
Okay.
To ensure we could support their vision while staying within budget, I negotiated a payment plan and secured additional funding through a grant proposal, highlighting the project's cultural significance.
Now that's impressive.
Yeah.
You've demonstrated your advocacy for the artist, your financial savvy, and your grant writing skills.
It's a lot.
Talk about a triple win.
Right.
And speaking of winning strategies, this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
So by inputting the specific job description, you can get tailored feedback on your answers,
Right.
ensuring you're highlighting the skills and experience that matter most to this particular employer.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're speaking directly to what they're looking for.
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket. Now let's talk about a question that often trips people up. Can you tell us about a successful exhibition you organized?
Yes.
It seems straightforward, but it's where storytelling is key.
It is, yeah.
Choose an exhibition that allows you to showcase a variety of skills. Organization, marketing, overcoming challenges, and bring it to life with vivid details.
Yes, make them feel like they were there.
For example, instead of saying, "We had a great turnout,"
Right.
you could say something like, "The opening night drew over 400 attendees, double our average, with lines stretching around the block. The local paper even ran a feature on the exhibition, calling it a must-see for art lovers, which further boosted attendance and social media buzz."
Ooh, I like that, yeah.
You've painted a picture of that success.
Right.
And you've even got some social proof in there with the press mention.
Exactly.
Now, let's dive into a question that might seem daunting, especially if numbers aren't your thing. How do you manage the financial aspects of the gallery?
Okay.
It's the part no one wants to talk about,
Right.
but it's essential.
It is, and interviewers want to see that you understand the business side of art.
Right.
So go beyond basic budgeting. Could you share a time you analyzed market trends to inform pricing strategies or negotiated favorable terms with vendors to maximize the gallery's budget?
Those examples show you're not just crunching numbers, you're making strategic financial decisions that contribute to the gallery's overall success.
Exactly, exactly.
Now, let's talk about a question that's designed to assess your grace under pressure. How do you handle difficult clients or situations?
Ooh. Yeah, that's always a fun one.
Right. The art world, like any field, has its share of big personalities and unforeseen circumstances.
Oh, for sure.
So how do you recommend tackling this question?
Well, it's about having a clear process for conflict resolution.
Right.
Don't just say, "I'm good with people."
Right.
Instead, try something like, "When faced with a challenging client, I believe in active listening to understand their concerns fully. Once I have a clear picture, I can offer solutions and work collaboratively towards a resolution."
You've demonstrated empathy, problem-solving skills, and a cool head, all qualities of a fantastic gallery manager.
That's what we like to see.
And speaking of fantastic, RoleCatcher can help you fine-tune those answers even further.
Oh, absolutely.
So by creating a personalized account,
Mm-hmm.
you can save practice questions, track your progress, and even record yourself answering these very questions using the platform's video practice feature to get AI-powered feedback on your delivery.
It's amazing.
Talk about taking your interview prep to the next level. We've covered a lot of ground so far, and it's clear that acing this interview requires a blend of passion, experience, and savvy communication skills.
It really does.
It's like you're crafting a masterpiece, but instead of paint and canvas, you're using words and experiences.
I love that analogy.
Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked: building relationships.
Okay.
The question, how do you develop relationships with collectors and clients, is your chance to shine as a relationship builder.
Yeah, and remember, this is where your passion for art meets your business acumen.
Right.
It's about creating a personalized experience, going beyond the transactional.
Totally. Instead of just saying, "I attend gallery openings and network,"
Right.
try something like, "I believe in building genuine relationships with collectors.
Okay.
I make an effort to remember their specific tastes, invite them to exclusive artist talks, and even connect them with other collectors who share their interests."
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Right.
You've shown that you understand the value of creating a community around art and providing that, high-touch experience.
Yes.
Now, remember that question about staying up to date with trends?
Yes.
That can come up again, but in a more nuanced way.
Okay, you mean like they might dig deeper into how you actually apply those trends.
Exactly.
Got it.
They might ask something like, "Can you give me an example of a recent art world trend that you incorporated into the gallery's programming?"
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah, it's one thing to name drop a trend,
Right.
but it's another to demonstrate how you translate that knowledge into action.
Exactly. So be ready with a specific example.
Okay.
Did you notice the growing interest in NFTs
Mhm.
and curate an exhibition showcasing digital art? Did you incorporate virtual reality into a gallery tour to make art more accessible?
Those are fantastic examples. It shows you're not just observing trends, you're at the forefront of innovation.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about something that can make or break a gallery: the art itself.
Oh, yeah.
The question, how do you approach selecting artists and artworks for the gallery?
Yes.
This is your chance to showcase your curatorial eye and your understanding of the market.
Yes, this one's all about showcasing your unique perspective.
Right.
What are your criteria for selecting artists?
Okay.
Do you look for emerging talent, established names, artists who push boundaries,
Yeah.
artists who fit a particular theme or style?
It's about showcasing your curatorial vision and how it aligns with the gallery's overall identity.
Yes, exactly.
And don't forget to mention any success stories.
Yes. Did you discover an artist who went on to achieve critical acclaim?
Right.
Did you curate a show that sparked important conversations in the art world?
Those achievements speak volumes.
They do.
Now let's circle back to the question about managing the financial aspects of the gallery.
Okay.
Remember, showcasing financial acumen doesn't mean you have to be an accountant.
Right.
It's about demonstrating your understanding of the bigger picture.
Right. They might ask something like, how do you measure the success of an exhibition beyond sales figures?
That's a great question, because a successful exhibition is about so much more than just dollar signs.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
This is where you can highlight your ability to think strategically and consider a range of factors.
Yeah.
Did the exhibition generate positive press coverage?
Okay.
Attract new collectors to the gallery? Spark an important dialogue about a particular theme or movement?
Those are all valuable metrics of success.
They are.
Now, let's not forget about the practical aspects of the role.
Okay.
They might ask, how do you handle the logistics of shipping and installing artwork?
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Right. This might seem like a small detail, but it's crucial for ensuring the smooth operation of the gallery. Demonstrate your organizational skills,
Well, yeah.
your attention to detail.
For sure.
So instead of just saying, I handle shipping and installation, you could say something like, I have a trusted network of art handlers and shippers that I work with to ensure the safe and timely transport and installation of all artworks. I also meticulously document all procedures and maintain detailed inventory lists to ensure the utmost care and accountability.
Wow, you've thought of everything.
Well, you know,
This is great.
got to be prepared.
Yes.
Speaking of handles,
Okay.
RoleCatcher has a fantastic feature that allows you to flag challenging questions as you practice.
Oh, that's really useful.
Right. So if you come across a question that stumps you,
Yeah.
you could flag it, revisit it later,
Love it.
really master your
Oh,
response.
God, that's great.
It's like having a personalized study guide for your interview.
It is.
Now let's talk about a question that can often feel personal.
There.
Why do you want to work at this gallery?
Oh, yes. Everyone's favorite.
The why us question. It's their chance to gauge your genuine interest and see if you've done your homework.
Exactly.
This is where your research is key.
Yes.
Highlight something specific that resonates with you about the gallery's mission, their roster of artists, their exhibition history, or even their place within the larger art community.
Yes, you want to make it very clear that you're not just sending out a generic application to every gallery in town.
Right.
You've researched them specifically.
For example, you could say, I've been following your gallery's program for years, and I'm particularly drawn to your commitment to showcasing emerging artists from underrepresented communities.
Oh, wow. I like that.
I believe my passion for fostering diverse voices in the art world aligns perfectly with your gallery's values.
That's a great example.
Right.
You've demonstrated your knowledge of the gallery and articulated how your values align with theirs.
It's about finding that synergy.
Yes, exactly. And while we're talking about powerful statements, let's touch on those behavioral interview questions again. Remember, those are the questions that ask you to share specific examples of how you've handled situations in the past.
Right, like the tell me about a time you questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, those can be tricky
It can.
because they require you to think on your feet
Yes.
and come up with a compelling story from your past experience.
Yes. And while you can't predict every single question they'll ask,
Right.
you can prepare by reflecting on your experiences and identifying stories that showcase your key skills and qualities.
That's such a good point. It's like building up a mental library of anecdotes that you can draw upon during the interview.
Exactly.
Right.
And don't be afraid to think broadly.
Okay.
The stories you share don't have to be limited to your professional life.
Right.
You might have a fantastic example from a volunteer experience, a leadership role in a student organization, or even a personal project that demonstrates your relevant skills and qualities.
I love that it's about connecting the dots and showcasing how your experiences, both inside and outside the workplace, have prepared you for this role. Now let's switch gears for a moment and talk about a question that often arises towards the end of an interview.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for us?
Ooh, yes.
The dreaded question that can either make you shine or fall flat.
It's true.
It's easy to draw a blank, especially after you've been in the hot seat for a while.
Right. But this is your chance to demonstrate your curiosity,
Okay.
your engagement, and your genuine interest in the role and the gallery.
So it's not just about them interviewing you. It's also about you interviewing them.
100%.
Okay, I like that.
This is your opportunity to gather information that will help you make an informed decision.
Okay.
Prepare a few thoughtful questions in advance, questions that show you've been paying attention,
Right.
that you're thinking critically, and that you're genuinely interested in learning more.
What kind of questions would you recommend?
Well, you could ask about the gallery's vision for the future,
Okay.
the biggest challenges and opportunities they foresee in the coming year, the gallery's approach to supporting artist careers,
Okay.
or even something specific that you found intriguing on their website or in their recent exhibition history.
Those are great examples. It shows that you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for the right fit.
Exactly.
Let's touch on something that can be a bit of a wild card in interviews. Salary expectations.
Oh, yeah, the money question.
Right. It's the topic that often makes people squirm,
It does.
but it's an important one.
It is, yeah, and it's something that you should be prepared to discuss, even if they don't explicitly ask about it.
Okay, good point.
It's a good idea to have a salary range in mind.
Okay.
A range that's both realistic for your experience level and the going rate for similar roles in your geographic area.
Right. And don't be afraid to advocate for yourself.
Yes.
You have valuable skills and experience to offer,
Yeah,
so make sure you're being compensated fairly.
absolutely. And remember, negotiating salary isn't just about the number on the paycheck.
Right.
It's also about benefits, professional development opportunities, and other perks that contribute to your overall job satisfaction.
That's such an important point. It's about finding a role and an organization that value you and your contributions.
Exactly.
Now let's circle back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of storytelling in your interview answers.
Yes.
We've talked about how to structure a compelling story using the STAR method.
Right.
But what are some common pitfalls to avoid?
That's a great question.
Because you can do all this right and still, kind of mess it up.
Totally. One common pitfall is choosing a story that's not relevant to the specific skills or qualities the interviewer is looking for.
So if they ask about a time you demonstrated leadership,
Right.
you wouldn't want to launch into a story about how you organized your sock drawer,
Right.
even if you're incredibly proud of your size sorting system.
Exactly. As impressive as your sock organization skills might be,
Right.
they might not be the most relevant example in that particular context.
That makes sense. So it's all about choosing stories that align with the specific job requirements.
Yes.
And demonstrate your ability to excel in the role.
Exactly.
What other pitfalls should we watch out for?
Another common mistake is being too vague or generic in your storytelling.
Okay, so instead of saying, I had a challenging client, but I handled it,
Right.
you'd want to provide specific details about the situation,
Yes.
the actions you took, and the positive outcome you achieved.
Paint a vivid picture with your words.
Okay.
Use sensory details, describe the emotions involved,
Right.
make the interviewer feel like they're right there with you, experiencing the situation firsthand.
Those details bring your story to life and make it much more memorable.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about something that can be a deal breaker for some interviewers.
Mm-hmm.
Negative body language.
Oh, yes.
You might have the most amazing answers prepared,
Right.
but if you're slouching, avoiding eye contact, or fidgeting nervously, you're sending the wrong message.
You are. Body language speaks volumes.
It does.
And it's especially important in an interview setting.
Right.
You want to project confidence, enthusiasm, and engagement.
So what are some tips for maintaining positive body language, even when you're feeling nervous?
Great question. First and foremost, make eye contact with the interviewer.
Okay.
It shows that you're listening attentively and that you're engaged in the conversation.
Right. Eye contact is key. What else?
Sit up straight, shoulders relaxed, and feet planted firmly on the ground.
Okay.
This posture conveys confidence and presence.
It's about commanding your space, even if you're not feeling particularly commanding on the inside.
Exactly. And don't forget to smile.
Yes.
A genuine smile goes a long way in creating a positive and memorable impression.
Smiling makes everyone feel more at ease.
It does.
Now let's talk about something that's become increasingly common in the interview process, the follow-up.
Ah, yes, the art of the follow-up.
Right. It's an essential part of the interview process, but it's often overlooked.
It is. So many people think the interview ends when they walk out the door, but that's not necessarily the case.
Right. So what are your top tips for writing a thank you note that stands out?
First and foremost, send it promptly.
Okay.
Ideally, within 24 hours of your interview.
Got it. Timeliness is key. What else?
Personalize it.
Okay.
Don't just send a generic thank you note.
Right.
Mention something specific that you discussed during the interview.
Okay.
A particular artwork, a shared interest, a question they asked that sparked your curiosity.
That's such a good point. It shows that you were listening attentively and that you're genuinely interested.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to reiterate your enthusiasm for the role and the gallery.
Yes.
Let them know why you're excited about the opportunity and how your skills and experience align with their needs.
It's like a final opportunity to reinforce your candidacy and leave a lasting positive impression.
Precisely. And remember, a thank you note is also a chance to address any outstanding questions or concerns.
Oh, good point.
Did they ask about your availability for travel?
Okay.
Did you forget to mention a relevant skill or experience?
It's a chance to tie up any loose ends and ensure that you've presented yourself in the best possible light.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about something that could be incredibly valuable throughout the entire interview process. Feedback.
Oh, yes, feedback.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, right?
It really is, but seriously, feedback is essential for growth and improvement.
It is.
Whether you land the job or not, take the opportunity to learn from the experience.
So how do you go about asking for feedback in a way that's both professional and constructive?
Great question. If you're offered the job, you can always ask for feedback as part of your onboarding process.
That makes sense, but what if you don't get the job?
Okay.
Is it still appropriate to ask for feedback?
Absolutely. In fact, it shows that you're committed to your professional development and that you're eager to learn from your experiences.
I love that. So how do you go about requesting feedback after a rejection?
You can start by sending a thank you note, expressing your gratitude for their time and consideration. Then, you can politely ask if they would be willing to share any feedback on your interview performance.
And be specific. Instead of just saying, can I have some feedback?
Right.
You could say something like, I'm always looking for ways to improve my interview skills.
Yes.
Would you be willing to share any specific areas where I could have strengthened my candidacy?
Exactly. By being specific and framing your request in a positive light, you're more likely to receive valuable insights that can help you ace your next interview.
And, speaking of strengthening your candidacy, our career guide had some really interesting insights into career progression.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to get hyper-focused on this interview.
Right.
But thinking long-term, where could this role lead?
Right. Well, this guide actually mentioned that many gallery managers eventually step into roles like gallery director or curator.
So there's room to specialize, to move up the ladder. That's super motivating.
It is, and it ties back to that earlier question about your why us,
Right.
mentioning that you see this role as part of a larger career path within the art world.
Yeah.
Shows you're invested in their gallery's growth, too.
It's like you're both on the same journey, heading towards even greater things.
I love that.
Okay, we've covered so much ground, from nailing those tricky interview questions to leveraging RoleCatcher's AI for that extra edge.
We really have. We've given them a lot.
But before we wrap up, I want to touch on something crucial. Confidence.
Yes, so important.
You can have all the knowledge and experience in the world, but if you don't believe in yourself, it won't shine through.
That's so true. And remember, even seasoned professionals get nervous before interviews. It's normal.
Oh, yeah.
But you've got this.
You do. You've got this.
You've done the work. You're prepared. You're passionate.
And you've listened to this deep dive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. In fact, it shows that you're committed to your professional development. You're eager to learn from your experiences.
Love that.
Yeah.
So how do you go about requesting feedback after a rejection?
You can start by sending a thank you note, expressing your gratitude for their time and consideration. Then you can politely ask if they'd be willing to share any feedback on your interview performance.
And be specific. Instead of just saying, can I have some feedback?
Right.
You could say something like, I'm always looking for ways to improve my interview skills. Would you be willing to share any specific areas where I could have strengthened my candidacy?
Exactly. By being specific and framing your request in a positive light, you're more likely to receive valuable insights that can help you ace your next interview.
And speaking of strengthening your candidacy, our career guide had some really interesting insights into career progression.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to get hyper-focused on this interview.
Right.
But thinking long-term, where could this role lead?
Well, this guide actually mentioned that many gallery managers eventually step into roles like gallery director or curator.
Ooh, so there's room to specialize, to move up the ladder. That's super motivating.
It is, and it ties back to that earlier question about your why us? Like mentioning that you see this role as part of a larger career path within the art world shows you're invested in their gallery's growth, too.
It's like you're both on the same journey, heading towards even greater things.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered so much ground, from nailing those tricky interview questions to leveraging RoleCatcher's AI for that extra edge. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on something crucial: confidence.
Absolutely. You can have all the knowledge and experience in the world, but if you don't believe in yourself, it won't shine through.
So true. And remember, even seasoned professionals get nervous before interviews. It's normal.
Oh, yeah?
But you've got this.
You do. You've got this. You've done the work. You're prepared. You're passionate.
And you've listened to this deep dive.
Exactly. And remember, practice makes all the difference. The more you practice your answers, maybe using a platform like RoleCatcher to get that personalized feedback, the more confident you'll become.
It's like anything else, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Okay, before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for our aspiring gallery managers out there?
Go for it. The art world needs passionate, driven individuals like you. Show them what you've got.
Yes. Be bold, be creative, be yourself, and let your passion for art shine through. And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher for that extra edge. Their AI-powered tools can make all the difference.
Absolutely. They're a game changer. Now, to leave you with something to ponder, the career guide mentioned a really interesting point. The global art market is projected to grow significantly in the coming years. That means more opportunities, more competition, but also more chances to make your mark.
That's so true. It's an exciting time to be entering the art world. So to all our listeners out there, go out there, make your mark, and keep diving deep into the world you love. Until next time.